That's right, guys. I don't need that anymore. Mark, you left something at my house. Just kidding, buddy. You're not that far behind. But man, does it feel good to take that off. Whew. It's starting to get a little hot in there. So here I am, finally produced something of quality for my team this year. Which means if I'm here right now and this isn't the preview video, yes, high score this week, week 4, 160.9. The 0.9 is important because Caleb missed the high score by 0.4. So I'm hoping that there's no adjustment, so I'm just going off the assumption that I'm actually getting it, which seems safe at this point, but we'll see. So high score to currently known as Sad Ice Cream. No ice cream this week, guys. No ice cream. And I didn't share last week's ice cream just because it was a personal ice cream day. So anyways, things are pretty close in the standing still, surprisingly, but we'll share that information in the preview video. This video is about me. First, let's cover the recap of what happened in week 4. And while I enjoy my freshly squeezed, lots of pulp orange juice, Cody, always lots of pulp. So let's dive into it. Let's get the big one out of the way. The Rocketeer defeats the Purple Punishers with a high score of 160.9 to 138. Prue's team still showed up. It's just my team came through. And with that, I had to put up a high score to get a win this year. So week 2, I played against Tyler's monster score of 200. Last week I played against Leo's 190 points. So finally got a win. I've only really had one bad week, which is week 1. So moving forward, hopefully I can scoop out some more W's and get out of the bottom. I still do have the most points scored against me. With that being said, this guy gets MVP Le'Veon Bell. Oh yeah, gotta love the Bell, putting up almost 40 points, and that will do that for that matchup. Prue is gonna have a big matchup coming up here this next week. So next matchup, Law Firm, big score, 160 points. Caleb is doing stats. I mean, there's really 3 teams I'm afraid of. That's Caleb, Leo, and Tyler. So Caleb beats the Unlucky Demons at this point. I think you can stick with that name. 118 points. Still, actually, for the roster names on your starting roster, still put up 118, so that's pretty good. And so props to you. This guy has honorable mention, Todd Gurley. So there you go, Todd Gurley at 36 points, just missing player of the week by a point or so. And the next matchup is Rough Riders, having a rough year, still putting up some decent points. Gets beat by our reigning champ, our very own JP, who puts up 137 points. And really just all his guys just put up some decent numbers. Nothing really out of the norm except for one stat. Ryan Shazier, his linebacker, getting Defensive Player of the Week for that half point for Superman Award. He puts up 20 points for his linebacker. Wow. He had an interception, had assisted tackle, he had 10 solo tackles, a stuff, and 3 passes defended. Monster game for a defensive guy. Wow. That may be the highest score for a defensive guy this year. So congrats, JP, on picking him up and starting him. He might be your guy for the rest of the year. Okay. Next one. This one was fun. This one, the Immortals and Leo battling for the top. course, Leo somehow finds that edge, gets those guys coming out of the woodwork for him. 119.1 to 120.8. And it really came down to that Monday night. Jordan Reed had to have 1.9 points and put up 3.6. Just enough for the win for Leo's Army to stay undefeated, still league leader. Leo's Army proving everyone wrong still. Tyler still had a decent showing. Bobby Wagner had a touchdown. So, moving on. All right, so this was our featured matchup because this one, whoever lost this one, kind of puts them in the doghouse. That would be Trevor putting up 118. Okay showing. New guy, John Clausen, gets married this weekend. Almost steals a high score out of mine and Caleb's reach here. Deshaun Watson. Now, John was talking about this guy as a rookie quarterback all this last week, starting him, benching Cam. 37.2 as our player of the week. Jay Clausen. Gotta give you props here, buddy, because that start was insane. Finally, his Michael Thomas had a good game and put up 152 points to the Big Cheese, who now sinks to the bottom with us, me and Mark, with 118 points. So that was last week's matchups, and that's the recap video. So for my high score video, there was a couple of things that I wanted to cover. Now that I have a win, I just gotta say that really proud of everybody doing their high score videos on time this year. Awesome, way to be adults. So I was going to go ahead and talk all about myself, how great I am, how last year I should have had a championship, but that 100th place stole it from me, and JP, you still had a great team, so it's okay. I should have had another championship, but because of a software issue messing up the seedings for the playoff schedule, I got gypped out of a championship there. So I have 3 official, 2 unofficial, and I was going to talk about like my statistics and how great they are, but honestly, you guys have heard it. And so I just have decided, you know what? What's a better thing to kind of show you guys that these mean a lot, but my word saying it over and over, maybe not. So this is what I did. I got somebody's opinion that you all respect, and I want to hear what he has to say about it. He's been pretty close to this league, so let's patch him in and let's hear it from him.
Hey Mans League, it is Jordan. You'll have to excuse me, I'm driving through the middle of South Carolina, and I came down here for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to sell some polyethylene terephthalate. Look it up, Mark. Number 2, I also wanted to confirm to myself whether or not the Mans League was the greatest league that has ever existed, and who in the Mans League is the greatest of all time. And I'm happy to report, having been down here, that the Mans League is the greatest league that has existed in the lower 48. And I'm here to tell you also definitively that Zach Overcashier is the greatest fantasy football player within the Mans League. I have one word to tell all of you: scoreboard. My favorite reason that the Patriots won the Super Bowl last year was because I wanted Tom Brady to go down for sure as the greatest quarterback ever. And people can hate on his efficiency. They can claim that he was put into a system that made him who he is, but do you know what they can't argue with? 5 championships. And do you know what none of you can argue about? 3 championships for Zach Overcashier. I remember a conversation I had with one of you just last week after Zach's 0-3 start, and the individual said it doesn't matter how he started, he's the most dangerous person in this league. It's how he's going to finish. Again, one word: scoreboard. Zach Overcashier, greatest of all time.
There you guys got it. I mean, I have nothing else to say. Peace.